Some places welcome you with a view. Others welcome you with something deeper. An invisible thread that pulls at your chest and whispers, "You belong here." The koala had landed in Salvador just an hour earlier. It was late afternoon, golden hour. The kind of light that makes everything look like memory. His paws were still stiff from the flight. His heart beat with that quiet tension only a traveler knows. The mix of wonder and worry. He hadn't even seen the city yet. But something felt different. The taxi climbed the winding road into Ondina, a seaside neighborhood nestled between crashing waves and quiet hills. Palms lined the avenue. Locals walked slowly, as if the sun had taught them a better rhythm of life. The koala checked into a small boutique hotel. Nothing fancy, but real. Terracotta tiles, a faint smell of coconut soap. A reception desk with beads of water from the ocean breeze. Room 504. He opened the window, and then he froze. The Atlantic Ocean, right there, spilling into the horizon. The waves rolled in like breathing. Below, surfers danced with danger. Above, birds glided without effort. And in that moment, he didn't feel like a tourist. He felt like he had returned to a place his heart already knew. Sometimes. It's not the view that takes your breath away. It's the feeling that the view was waiting for you. He sat on the edge of the bed, letting the breeze wash over him. The room was simple. A white bedspread, a shell lamp, the distant beat of drums from somewhere unknown. He knew the city was alive out there. That stories waited. That tomorrow would be full of color and noise and taste. But that first night, it was just him and the sea. No camera, no sketchbook, just stillness. And the beginning of something he didn't have a name for yet. He whispered to himself, before closing the window. Tomorrow, I'll meet Salvador, but tonight, I let it meet me. Have you ever arrived somewhere and felt instantly that something inside you had shifted? Tell us your story in the comments below, and if you've ever looked out a window and felt the world pull you in, leave a like, subscribe, and tap the bell, because in the next episode, the koala heads to one of Brazil's most iconic sunsets, Over the Barra. Some sunsets are just endings. Others are beginnings, dressed in orange and gold. That night, at the edge of the continent, the koala didn't just watch the sun go down, he watched himself rise. The sky was already starting to soften. When the koala arrived at the Over the Barra, it wasn't crowded yet. But the rhythm of something sacred was already in the air. The sound of waves. The buzz of vendors. The heartbeat of Bahia. It wasn't just another tourist spot. It was a stage. And today, the sun was the star. He walked slowly, taking in every detail. The lighthouse stood tall, weathered, proud, unmoved. It had watched pirates, poets, revolutionaries, and now, a furry little traveler, with wide eyes and an open heart. Children ran barefoot across the grass. Couples sat on the stone ledge with beers in hand. A man sold cocadas from a tray. Drummers began to play, soft, steady, like an ancient ritual. The koala sat facing west and waited. As the sun dipped lower, the air turned golden. Not bright, thick, like honey, like music, like memory. He took a deep breath. Salt, coconut oil, the faint smell of acarajé somewhere nearby. And then the light hit the water. The ocean caught fire, not in flames, but in color. A curtain of gold spread across the sea, and for a moment, the whole world paused to watch. No one moved, no one spoke. Even the koala stopped sketching. Because some moments don't ask to be recorded, they ask to be remembered. In silence. Some things speak louder than words, and sunsets never lie. As the sun disappeared behind the line, where sea meets sky, the crowd clapped softly, not for performance, but for presence. The koala closed his eyes and let the applause wash over him. He didn't know what tomorrow held. But in that moment, he understood something quiet and eternal. Beauty is not a destination. It's what you feel when you stop trying to arrive. Have you ever watched a sunset that made you feel something you couldn't explain? Tell us about it in the comments. What did it change inside you? And if this episode lit something in your heart, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because next, the koala takes a colorful, musical, and historical leap into Pelourinho. You think you came for colors and photos, but some places don't just show you history. They demand that you feel it, that you carry it, that you dance with it, even when your heart is heavy. The koala didn't expect silence in Pelourinho, but the kind he found there wasn't quiet, it was deep. A silence built on centuries of struggle, rhythm, and survival. He entered through a narrow cobblestone alley. And suddenly the world opened wide. Asterisk, the buildings looked like candy. Pink, blue, yellow, turquoise, each facade more vibrant than the last. But beneath the joyful palette, there was gravity. He stopped in front of a colonial church, its stone worn from time. An elderly man played berimbau on the steps. A woman balanced a tray of acarajé on her head. Somewhere, someone sang. Pelourinho wasn't a museum. It was alive. Every drumbeat echoed footsteps from generations past. Every crack in the sidewalk whispered names never taught in schools. Every dance, every laugh, every scent of incense. Resistance. The koala followed the music. He climbed steep hills, past capoeira circles, watched children perform samba de roda, and saw the sky darken over the tiled rooftops. He didn't film, he didn't draw, he just walked, eyes open, heart listening. Asterisk. Not all stories are written in books. Some are painted on walls, sung in the streets, and danced into memory. At one square, a mural caught his breath. A black child with wings. A phrase underneath. We are the dreams of those who survived. He stared, not blinking, not moving. And for the first time on this trip, he cried. Asterisk. That night, he sat alone on a bench with a small percussion instrument he had bought, just holding it, listening to the city breathe, listening to his own rhythm change. I didn't just visit Pelourinho today. I was invited into something sacred, and I hope I'm worthy of carrying it with me. Has a place ever shaken you to your core? Not because it was beautiful, but because it was honest. Share your story in the comments, and if Pelourinho stirred something in you too, like this video, subscribe, and tap the bell, because next, the koala rises, literally, into the sky with the iconic Elevador Lacerda. Some cities aren't just split by geography, they're split by time, by pain, by perspective. But when you rise above it all, you realize the view has always been bigger than the divide. The koala stood at the base of the Elevador Lacerda, neck tilted upward, fur brushing against the warm breeze of the lower city. It wasn't just an elevator, it was a bridge between two worlds, the commercial pulse below, and the historic soul above. Today, he wasn't just going up, he was going deeper. Asterisk. The line wasn't long. Locals, mixed with tourists. Vendors passed by with guaraná and fitas do bonfim. A child clutched a toy tambourine. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. And just like that, the koala stepped into history. The ascent was quick, just 30 seconds. But in that half minute, something shifted. From the windows, Salvador unfolded. Blue ocean, white churches, rust-red rooftops. You could see where the sugar ships once docked, and where revolution had whispered through the alleys of the Pella. The past, the present, the possible. All in one view, all in one breath. Asterisk. To see a city from above is to remember that nothing, no injustice, no separation, is permanent when you rise with heart. At the top, the koala walked to the railing. The sun was now behind him. In front, the Bahia de Todos, Os Santos gleamed. Boats floated like brushstrokes. The wind carried the scent of the sea, and of something older, unspoken. He realized this wasn't about altitude. It was about perspective. From up here, everything seemed possible, even healing. Asterisk. He turned to look back at the elevator. Its stone base grounded in time, its structure unchanged. A symbol of movement, of transition, of rising even when the world feels divided. Some places take you back in time, others take you beyond it. But Salvador, it lifts you, even when you don't know you need it. Have you ever stood somewhere and suddenly seen your world differently? Let us know in the comments. And if this story moved you, leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because in the next episode, the koala dives into the flavors, chaos, and cultural explosion of the Mercado Modelo. There are places where your senses awaken all at once, not gently, but in a riot of sound, scent, and color. You don't just visit, you surrender. As the koala crossed the street from the Elevador Lacerda, he saw it, the Mercado Modelo, a yellow building pulsing with life. It looked like a carnival in a box, waiting to burst, and it did. Asterisk. The moment he stepped inside, the world changed. Drums, voices, laughter, the smell of palm oil, grilled meat, and incense hit him like a wave. It was dizzying, delicious. To the left, a woman sold colorful ribbons and wooden saints. To the right, a man carved names into miniature bricks. There were dolls, tambourines, hammocks, and more pimenta do que coragem. He wandered like a child in a dream. In the back corner, a small restaurant played live foro. The koala sat, unsure of what to order, so the waiter brought him everything. Acarajé, moqueca, feijão tropeiro, vatapá, and finally, cachaca. He coughed, then laughed, then danced. Asterisk, in some markets, you shop, in others, you remember who you are, or discover someone new. A capoeirista invited him to try a move. He spun, fell, got up, laughed again. The koala wasn't just tasting Bahia, he was becoming a little more bohemian himself. One flavor, one drumbeat, one belly laugh at a time. Asterisk, as he stepped out of the market with a bag full of trinkets and a heart full of rhythm, the koala looked back at the building, now glowing in the golden hour. This isn't a souvenir shop. It's a portal. And I think a piece of me will always dance inside it. What's the most unforgettable market or street food you've ever experienced? Share your story in the comments, or tell us which dish you'd try first. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because next, the koala takes it to the streets. On a Trio, you think you've felt energy before, until the ground shakes, the air sings, and thousands move as one. This isn't just music, it's faith, it's freedom, it's acts. The koala had heard the legends, the drums, the crowds, the electric madness of Salvador Trio Elétrico. But nothing prepared him for the moment he turned that corner in Campo Grande and saw it. A giant moving stage, lights flashing, speakers roaring, and behind it, a wave of people dancing, singing, crying, living. Asterisk, he hesitated at first. The noise, the heat, the pressure of the crowd. But someone grabbed his paw, smiled, and pulled him in. Suddenly, he was part of it. Sweat dripped, beats dropped. Someone handed him a tambourine. He didn't know how to play. Didn't matter. The singer on top of the trio yelled, "Say Elevador." The crowd answered like a storm. The koala couldn't stop moving. It wasn't just the music. It was the spirit of resistance, of joy, of being unapologetically alive. Asterisk, in Salvador, music doesn't just come from speakers. It comes from the pavement, the people, the past. At one moment, the trio stopped. The lights dimmed. A solo voice sang "Who Canto da Cidade," and thousands joined in. The koala stood still, tears in his eyes. Not sad, overwhelmed. A stranger hugged him. No words, just connection. Asterisk, by the time the parade reached the end, the koala was covered in glitter, drenched in sweat, and smiling whiter than ever. Tonight, I didn't just watch Salvador dance. I danced with her. And I think she'll always move inside me now. Have you ever felt completely swept away by music, by energy, by something bigger than yourself? Tell us your most unforgettable party or festival moment in the comments. And if the koala's samba moved your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because next stop is barefoot, boatbound, and breathtaking. Morro de São Paulo. Sometimes, the best parts of the journey aren't on maps. They're on footpaths, behind cliffs, past tide and time, where silence speaks and the ocean tells stories. There are no cars in Morro de São Paulo, only footsteps, waves, laughter, carried on the breeze. When the koala stepped off the boat, barefoot on the wooden dock, he didn't just arrive somewhere, he let go. Asterisk. First came the climb. A steep trail welcomed him with sun on his fur and salt in the air. Locals passed by, carrying fruit, crafts, surfboards. Each step revealed more of the island. The cliffs, the palm trees, the turquoise sea that didn't need a filter. He walked along the Primera Praia, watched surfers dance with the tide. Then the Segunda, where young couples laughed and vendors offered fresh coconuts by the Terceira Praia. It was quieter, just the koala, the wind, and the distant sound of an acoustic guitar. He stopped, closed his eyes, and listened. Nature wasn't background here. It was the melody, and he was part of the chorus. Asterisk, you don't find peace in Morro. It finds you between footsteps, waves, and the sky stretching like forever. At sunset, he climbed the hill to the old lighthouse. The golden sky reflected in his eyes. The town behind him, the ocean ahead. For a moment, he wasn't a tourist, not even a traveler. He was just present. No rush, no noise, no plan, just the wind, the light, and a heart full of quiet awe. Asterisk, when the stars rose over the sea, he laid in a hammock, not thinking, just feeling. Morro isn't just a destination. It's where you remember what really matters. Silence, nature, simplicity. And that sometimes, getting lost is how you find peace. Have you ever visited a place that calmed your soul instantly? Tell us your story, or share what paradise means to you. And if Morro touched your heart like it did the koalas, like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the journey ends next. With luxury, peace, and goodbye, Costa do Sauípe. All journeys need a final chapter. But sometimes, the last page isn't about action, it's about stillness. It's where the soul exhales. After so much discovery, so many beats, stories, and flavors, the koala felt the pull of silence. Again, a silence not empty, but earned. And that silence waited in Costa do Sauípe, surrounded by coconut trees and lagoons. Costa do Sauípe seemed like it had been drawn by someone who knew exactly what peace looked like. The koala walked through white sand paths, the sound of soft waves kissing the shore. Here everything slowed down. No horns, no crowds, no schedule. Just a hammock, a gentle breeze, and a heart finally at rest. He swam in still waters, watched fishermen work quietly, tasted tropical fruit juices and fresh tapioca under a strapped cabana, and for the first time in weeks, he stopped filming, stopped writing, stopped thinking, just was. Peace isn't something you capture. It's something you recognize when your soul finally gets quiet enough to hear it. At sunset, the koala sat alone on the beach. The sky was ablaze in orange and pink. He thought of the music in Lapa, the waves in Morro, the colors of Pelourinho, and smiled. Not everything had gone perfectly, but everything had been real, and that made it perfect enough. As stars lit up the Bohemian sky, the koala whispered, "Obrigado, Salvador. You didn't just show me your city, you showed me myself." What's a place that gave you rest? Not just for your body, but for your spirit? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this journey moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The koala's story in Bahia may end here, but the world is wide, and his paws are itching for the next chapter. Where should he go next? Tell us below.